and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Here.
Mr. Franco?
I'm here.
And Mr. Cabrera?
I am here. Sound check. Good. All right, in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, the notice requirements have been satisfied as to the time, place, and date of holding said meeting by posting notice on the bulletin board here in Borough Hall and by mailing and emailing same to the Herald of Cape May County on October 4th, 2023, and the Press of Atlantic City on December 13th, 2023. In the event of an emergency, your emergency exit is the door that you came in, our front left, your back right, or your front left, our front right, just by the American flag. This meeting is being shown live here today on the borough's Facebook page and the YouTube channel. If you want to call in and ask a public question, you can use the dial-in conference line. That number is 888-363-4734, and when prompted, you're going to enter the access code 9699020, followed by the pound or the hashtag. If you watch the recorded version of this meeting and you have questions and would like to make a statement, you're more than welcome to email our clerk at clerk@wildwoodcrest.org or phone her at 609-729-8040. Speaking of our clerk, Madam Clerk, I believe we have two ordinances.
Yes, sir. The first is Ordinance 1422, and it reads as follows. An ordinance of the Borough of Commissioners of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, amending the Code of the Borough of Wildwood Crest to repeal Chapter 36, Flood Prevention of the Code of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, and to adopt a new Chapter 36 entitled Floodplain Management Regulations, to adopt flood hazard maps, to designate a floodplain administrator, and providing for severability and an effective date.
Motions that ordinance number 1422 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on February 21st, 2024 at 5 p.m.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1422 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on February 21st, 2024 at 5 p.m.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is Ordinance 1423, and it reads as follows. An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 85 of the Code of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, entitled Land Development, Article 18, Section 85-139, Fees, approving and confirming rates and fees for guarantees, inspections, and off-tract improvements.
Motions that ordinance number 1423 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on February 21st, 2024 at 5 p.m.
Second that.
Mr. Mayor? Do you want me to read that?
Oh, yeah. It's moved and seconded that ordinance number 1423 be passed on first reading and advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on February 21st, 2024 at 5 p.m.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have the resolutions. The first is authorizing a licensing agreement between the Borough of Wildwood Crest and the Dolphin Swim Club for the use of the Joseph Von Savage Pool.
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing borough engineer work for municipal Tier A Stormwater Grant Program application and stormwater GIS mapping services at the not-to-exceed sum of $25,000.
Motion.
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing expenditure to purchase pool system upgrades and service contract under the ESC-NJ Cooperative Purchasing Program for the Public Works Department.
Motion.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing expenditure to purchase one double-sided sign with electronic message center for Emergency Medical Services Building under the Hunterdon County Cooperative Purchasing Program.
All motion.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing award of the tennis court shade structure installation contract to Fred M. Chiavone Construction, Inc. at the not-to-exceed sum of $42,900.
I'll motion that.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing award of contract for the Beach Street End Public Access Improvements Phase 3.
Motion it.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing the sale of surplus property no longer needed for public use on an online auction website.
All motion?
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing a service agreement with MSAR for 2024 EMS full-service rate card rates and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement.
I'll motion that.
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera. God bless you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next is authorizing expenditure to purchase lumber from Home Depot under state contract number 18-fleet-00234 for beach walkways.
Motion?
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing award of contract to LEW Environmental Services for on-site lead-based paint inspections.
Motion?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Lastly is approving annual sewer rates and minimum charges for calendar year 2024.
Motion?
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Thanks, Trish.
You're welcome.
Okay, correspondence, nothing listed, but brings us to our first round of public comments. If you have a public comment, please come on up to the podium. All we need is your name. We do not need your address. We'll start with anybody here in the audience. Marie? Sir?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Jack O'Shaughnessy. I reside at 100 East
Yep.
Jefferson Avenue.
Don't need that.
And I'm here to discuss a matter that's important to me, and I hope it's important to you as well. And that involves taking care of people with special needs during times of emergency. I think most of us were here during the power outage in late July or August, when the power went out for about 2 or 3 hours in Wildwood Island. My wife is on oxygen 24/7. And as soon as the power went out, we lost power and she lost her ability to take in any oxygen. So we had to resort to a portable machine that lasts as long as the battery lasts, and that's maybe 4 to 6 hours. Now, we got down to about an hour and a half when we decided, hey, what are we gonna do? So the only recourse we had at that time was to take the portable machine into the car and plug a jack into the cigarette lighter to provide emergency oxygen as she required it. Now, I'm not really here for myself because we had several options at the time. I have a son who was in Avalon at the time, and their power did not go out. And I could have driven to Cape Regional Hospital. But I'm here to talk about the people who don't have that option. What would they do if they were in my wife's situation with an hour and a half left on that portable machine? And once she ran out of oxygen, she was in deep trouble because she would be short of breath and actually gasping for air. And that occurs even when we're out of power for maybe 5 minutes or so due to a kink in the tubing in the house. So, like I said, what I would like maybe to happen is a registry to be established of people that have special needs, that are living on their own with not the resources that I have, that they don't have the ability to take care of themselves. And maybe a special task force be set up to make sure that when emergency exists, that these people are contacted and told what to do. It's important to me, and I think, you know, it just might save a life. And I think it's just an important thing that I would like you people to consider. Thank
Okay.
you.
And
You're bringing up a very important situation for the community. We have our head of the EMS here, Mr. Bill Cripps. I think he can address that for you to tell you what to do. And I think your idea to create a list of people that we could call or see how they're doing, a wellness check. I know our police department has that already. I think the chief could probably address that also. But I did want to let you know that we do have areas that you can go to right here in the town. One of them is the fire department. They have a generator that works all the time. You could go there and charge up. And also EMS has a generator in their building that you could do the same thing. That's the one that's all the way down by Washington Avenue. I'm not sure if you ever saw that building there.
I appreciate that, because when we left the hospital, we were told to notify the borough as well as the fire department as to the fact that we had oxygen in the house, just to make sure that when they came in the house, that they knew that there was a possibility of accelerating the fire due to the oxygen being there. I visited the firehouse. There's no one there at Washington Avenue. I went to the firehouse up on Rambler Avenue. There was nobody there. So I went to the borough office here and spoke to a very nice woman who took my name and told me that she would notify the fire department as to the situation at our house. And she was kind enough to call me the following day and tell me that she had notified the fire department of our situation and that it was taken care of. So I was very thankful for that happening.
So one of the things that I just wanted to help you with, that our EMS is 24/7. There's always somebody there unless they're out on a run. That would be a situation that there wouldn't be anybody there, but they always come back home. Now, the fire department's different because they're a volunteer, so you're not going to catch them there all the time. But lucky enough, Mr. Cripps in the back right there, he is also a part of the fire department. So I think we can handle the needs that you're talking about pretty sufficiently and help you out. I'd like you to talk with him after the meeting, if you
Okay.
wouldn't mind.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your concerns.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we'll wrap up, anybody on the conference line have any public comments? Okay, moving on to new business under the discussion. We were provided with a draft of the EV ordinance. Didn't know if anybody has any questions. If not, it's pretty self-explanatory. We could move to have our clerk put that on for introduction at the next meeting. Anybody have any comments or questions, or any questions from a legal perspective for Mr. Galzunas?
I don't know.
Commissioner?
I'm good, thanks.
All right.
February 21st, we'll
February
introduce.
21st, we'll list that one up. Lot at Rosemary and Seaview, so just to bring everybody up to speed, so we received, I guess, a concern or request. There's some new construction going on at this particular location. The lot is in need of some cleaning up. I'm not gonna hide that. But at the end of the day, it's gonna cost money. So the idea, residential houses it's all around residential. We had discussed and actually went out to bid before, and I don't think we received any bids on it. So I guess I raised the question is as we're considering having to clean up the lot and put money out, is it better to sell the lot and allow someone to put a single-family house only on there and perhaps get the tax revenue out of it rather than just having it sit there? It's just basically an empty lot, and it's something I wanted to bring up to everybody to consider. So if we're gonna invest money, we could have roughly $5,000 to $6,000 of local tax revenue coming up if somebody were to build a house there, plus the sale price of that lot. Or do you wanna just keep it and sit on it, and just have it sit there? I don't envision there ever to be a park there. It's in a residential neighborhood or anything like that, and it's been sitting there for quite some time, so, governing body, just happy to discuss it and put it out there so we know what action that we need to take. But we are looking at if we're gonna clean it up, at least a $6,000 expense to clean that up.
I have a question, and I can't find it on the state website. Is there a capital gains tax on municipal land that's being sold?
I don't believe so.
Is tax exempt?
Yeah, we're not, the municipality's not gonna pay an income tax, but I can look into it further.
Because that would be, if I'm looking at it on a private, it's 15 to 20% that we would get hit. And then if it was gifted, the property, correct?
It was gifted.
Right, so that would add a little bit more since we didn't actually buy it. So I'm curious to see how much we would actually get hit on if we sold that property.
Okay, assuming that the answer is, Ron, I thought I heard you say that you don't think
I
so.
don't
You're
believe
gonna
there is,
look
but
into it?
I'll double check on
All right,
that to
so
make sure.
if there is
I know
not
we're
a
exempt on a state level for
capital
any
gains
taxes.
tax on there, are you okay with moving on it?
I would have to weigh it out to see how much we actually get hit, but if it works out that we don't get hit, I would be open to it.
Okay. Commissioner?
One of the things that I'd like to see with that property, and I think it's a good time to sell because things are still moving pretty good, is that we designate that money that we get to something. I don't know, Francine and I were talking about it a little bit, but I forget where we could put that. But I don't want it to be conceived or looked at from the borough residents that we're selling it because we need money. You know, that's one of the things, I want it to be clear that we're financially stable, but it's a good time to sell this property to put us in a better spot. So we could designate that capital to maybe capital, and I have no problem doing that.
Yeah, it's an open space lot right now, so anything that enhances or preserves open space, we could certainly, dedicate it to something like
Yeah,
that.
that's okay with the governing body.
Yeah, just some ideas. How about we leave it under old business for now, Trish?
Yep.
Until we get the details on the potential capital gains, and then we can discuss it at the next
Will
meeting
do.
under old business.
I have
Yep.
one more question about
Sure.
that also. Are we considering going out to like an open bid or a, how's that? An auction type thing with a minimal?
You can certainly do that.
Or do we,
Do either.
or what, the other option? Yeah.
Public auction, it's disposition of public property would be the statute.
I
So you
would-
do have options on how you want to handle that.
And they take a fee. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would
Well,
prefer.
unless we do it in-house, which we've done.
That we have.
We can do it ourselves.
Yeah, I would prefer doing it in-house and not paying a fee.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. And,
That's what we did.
We did that last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'd like to just suggest with that property, if I could afford it, I'd buy it. But,
you can.
I'd like to advertise it a little bit better than we did last time. I think we just had the sign up. We really didn't put too much out there. And I think we might be able to create more interest into that property.
Yep, we'd have to spend a little bit of money, but we could definitely advertise.
$2 million if you want it.
Thank you. That's all I have, thanks.
All right. Anything else, John?
No, I'm good.
Good. All
Thank you.
right. Last one on discussion, ordinance number 1424, chapter 47, pay to park ordinance. There was a draft. The borough is moving into the direction of more park mobile, and this ordinance cleans that all up, if I'm not mistaken there, Mr. Galzunas?
It does, Mayor. It brings us into the era of technology. This ordinance was based entirely on coin-operated meters. So we're putting language in there to officially recognize the use of web-based payment systems. There's also a couple sections in here that the commissioners may want to consider. We provide for the sale of seasonal permits, but we don't have any regulation surrounding them. So it could be left alone, or you could consider any further regulations like the transferability of the parking passes, a limitation on how many can be purchased by one person or one entity. Those are some of the types of regulations that you'll see in other municipalities, or you could leave it alone or adjust the fee. And then there's also a time limit that exists for metered parking, which is currently, I believe, 8 hours. So that could be looked at as well.
Okay, assuming public safety vetted and everything, took a look at everything, everybody's good there, right?
As far as I know, Chief's
Yes.
on board with it, we're good.
Okay?
It's fine with me, the chief's on board,
Yeah.
that's fine, that works.
All right, I would be okay with, we would list it for, intro at the next meeting.
Can do.
Everybody go with that?
Yes, thank
All
you.
right. All right, under old business, just go through there quickly, I don't believe we have any updates since the last meeting. Concession agreements on hold, traffic calming is on hold, back beach excavations on hold, dredging, anything on dredging?
We've gotten a few emails back and forth with NJDOT, Scott Douglas. They are still in the acquisition phase. The right-of-way unit at the state is working on the assessed value of property that they're looking at for a CDF. Then they will negotiate with the landowner. And other than that, that phase 2 is still moving forward. Just waiting on that to get done. And phase 1, which I reported on at the last meeting, to be complete, for us to move on to phase 2, which will involve Wildwood Crest and Sunset Lake.
Okay. You have anything on that? All good? Connie's the dredging expert. I heard she's gonna be speaking in Atlantic City, is that true?
She's changing her name to
Just been asked to
Judge
do that.
Dredge.
You were asked to speak in Atlantic City on dredging?
Yes,
Ooh.
just recently was asked to do that.
Wow.
Like
Yep.
that, Ron?
They have a national.
Right, that's
It's awesome.
all right, New Jersey Avenue infrastructure, that's on hold pending some funding to potentially, I think on the last meeting, Connie reported that the county is ready to move forward on that project, so we have some work that we need to do on the infrastructure before they start. Public Works roof is now falling down in terms of priority, so it is now going to be the Crest Pier roof and the pool flat roof. Funding is in place for that. We're just waiting for it to be awarded at the next meeting, February 21st. Bayside outfalls, anything new on that, Mark? Pretty much we're at the same spot.
We're still in the design phase. We're looking for a spring bid, fall construction, and we did go over we got the approval from yourself in a discussion with Connie to do some value engineering on the bulkheads, which I think is gonna save us about $200,000 to $300,000 for the whole project.
Yeah, and the permits were sent out as well, right? We
Yes.
sent those.
Just waiting on the check.
those
The
checks.
permits have to
Okay.
go with the
With the
checks,
checks,
so
yeah,
that'll
gotcha.
be on.
today.
Gotcha,
Right.
okay. All right, that project's moving along. Washington Seaview, nothing there, nothing new there to report. We're just waiting to hear back from Mr. Rotolo on that. Any else, governing body members? Do you have anything under old business you'd like to add?
I'm good, thank you.
Sir.
All right, public comments, go with our last round. Anybody, we'll start here in the audience. Marie, do you have anything? Marie, you have anything? Would love to hear from you. It's been a long time. Welcome back. It's all good. All right, it's all good. All right, conference line, anybody have any, public comments? Hearing none, we'll move to commissioner comments.
I'm fine, Mayor.
Good?
All good.
How about you?
Well, I just wanted to remind everybody that next Wednesday, a week from today, is Valentine's Day, so don't forget your loved ones,
Perfect,
all right?
thank you. I'd like to thank Public Works today for helping us out with helping one of our builders move on and keep the building moving, and that's the Beach Patrol building. We're starting to see some progress, but I want to thank Public Works for helping us out. That's all I have.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
I'll do that. Motion?
Can I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
9:54.